I should have introduced myself first. I am Father Clement from St. Mary's in Annapolis. So good to be here with you, and I already see some of my parishioners here. So good to be here. A story is told about a very poor family. The people of the town called them lovingly the Carpenters, because their name was the Carpenter. The family was so poor that they lived on the mountains or Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. And they were deprived of the good things that many of us have. They were not able to travel around to see places. The children were not able to have a proper education, and things were not going very well with the family. It was only when the eldest son was a teenager was his father able to take him to a city. And he was so excited to see all the good things in the city, the skyscrapers and the paved roads, traffic lights and electricity and wonderful things. He wanted to stay in the city and study, do his education. His father went out of his way and contacted one of his extended family members in the city and had him stay with them to do his studies. He did so wonderfully well that he was admitted into a medical school, and he graduated as a doctor. He did it so well that the institution wanted him to stay with them and wanted him to do service in their institution. But the doctor said, "No, I am going back to my people. They have no one to care for them. They have no doctors. So therefore, I return to my town." So he went back. Now they had a house which was 2 stories. The doctor put up his office on the upper floor. And the first floor, there was a grocery store. And outside the grocery store, he hung a sign. And the sign read, "Dr. Carpenter is upstairs." So a lot of people came to him, and he took care of them, he ministered to them, and many were not able to pay his fees, but all the same, he took care of them and ministered to them for many, many years. And as it would normally happen to all of us, he also died. So when he died, the townspeople came together and they said, "He has done us a wonderful service. So what should we write on his tombstone?" After a lot of discussion and debate, somebody came up with a very bright idea. And it was, "Let us put on his tombstone, Dr. Carpenter is upstairs." I thought that was a wonderful expression of faith. Dr. Carpenter was, of course, because of who he was and what he did, he was upstairs and he left his coat in the grave. That was his life. Now, I think the feast that we celebrate today, the solemnity of the Ascension, is in a sense to tell us that our doctor, the Carpenter, is upstairs. Now, Jesus, who came down to be with us and was one of us, he happened to be the son of a carpenter, but as he lived, he ministered, he served, and took care of people, and he loved all of them. And as he died and then rose from the dead, he spent his time once again 40 days with his disciples, with the people, and then he went upstairs. Now, the fact that he's gone upstairs would have made the disciples sad. They would not have been happy. But realizing what he has achieved and what he has gone to do, we are told in today's gospel especially, and thanks to the team, the choir, they sang so beautifully the responsorial psalm. Let us sing, or there is shouts of joy as the Lord is enthroned in heaven. That is the joy. And clap your hands, let us rejoice, because the Lord is enthroned. That is the message, or that's the theme that runs through all the readings today. Now, there is a reason. And there is a very close link between what we celebrate today, the Feast of the Ascension, and go back to the beginning of the year, Christmas that we celebrate. Christmas is the downward movement or the coming down of God to be with us, coming down so low to be like us, to be a human being like you and me. And he lived and he experienced everything, and then he loved his people. He gave all that he had. And then he died. But then, as God, he rose again from the dead and continued to empower and to educate and to be with his people to make them confident one more time. And then he goes back upstairs to where he belonged. So when he goes upstairs, the disciples are happy because, you see, now he is not only local, he becomes global. He becomes God not only of Edgewater, he is also God of Annapolis. He also is God of Africa, Alaska, and other places. So that is why he has gone back to heaven to sit on the throne. Now, I spoke about Christmas and the Ascension, and if you reflect further on the readings, you will see the readings focus on God or Jesus being enthroned, sitting on the throne. Very similar to what we celebrate at the end of the year. Jesus Christ, the King of the universe. So there's always a link between what we celebrate, and Ascension makes sense in the light of Christmas and also at the end celebrating Jesus Christ as the King of the universe. Now, as we are reflecting this feast, there's one thing that I want you to reflect on and to think about. That is, the whole mood of the celebration is one of joy, one of happiness. We're told the disciples rejoiced as the Lord ascended into heaven. And they went back to the temple day after day, night after night, singing and praising, glorifying God. That's because, think about what happened from the point of view of where we are. The celebration of the Feast of the Ascension tells us this is not the end. We need to look to the future with hope. And Jesus himself, during his ministry, said to us, I am going to the Father, and it is good for you that I go to the Father. If I go to the Father, I will prepare a place for you, and then I will come back and take you with me, so that where I am, you also may be. That is our hope. That is our goal as Christians. and Jesus has done it before us. We look to him at what he did, and we rejoice because we know we belong upstairs with him. That's our goal as Christians. Therefore, we should be rejoicing, we should be happy, singing and praising and glorifying God. There's one more thing before I close. You see what Jesus did? He chose very ordinary men and women, and he called them to be with them, and he empowered them, educated them, showed them what they should be doing. And at the end of it all, he trusted them. He entrusted the mission that he had begun, and he told them, you go to the end of the world and continue the work that I have started. He trusts us completely, 100%. Now the question that I have is, if God has trusted us and God knows and God is confident, or Jesus is confident that we will do the mission that he wants us to do we have that confidence? Do you think that we are capable of carrying out the mission that the Lord wants us to do? A lot of the times, especially when something goes wrong, we always blame, we say it is him or her. The same thing with our mission, our ministry as Christians. We say it is the role of the priest or Deacon Fernando or Deacon Tim or someone like him. Not my job. But today, as we celebrate this feast, the Lord looks at you and tells you, you are the one who will continue the mission. And the Lord does not leave us alone. He comes down to us, sits down at table with us, shares his own body and blood with us, and once again empowers us, gives us the strength, and he says, go and proclaim. Let us take our responsibility seriously and tell him, yes, I will do.